Hi guys, how you doing? How's it going today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my July update for my project pan, in which I pull products from my entire collection and try and use them up. This is my completion project pan. I also do deck of panning, which is my usage project pan. And I am just really out here trying to use the makeup that I have. It's not anything special. It's just trying to get it all used. Today is the first video I have filmed in about 800 years, I feel like. And I feel a little bit new at this. But I am in my new setup. We're still kind of living out of boxes, but I wanted to make sure that this got put together rather quickly because I miss being here filming. It's been probably 6 weeks since I have filmed. So if I seem out of sorts or like off my game, I am. I definitely am. But I am so excited to be back here with you guys today to do my project pan update since I missed all of June and some of May. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a field leader for Ulta Beauty. I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here on my channel, but ultimately I'm just out here talking about makeup because who doesn't want to talk about makeup? And I hope that you like it. I hope that you'll stick around. I hope that you'll subscribe before you go. With that said, let's roll into this project pan update because I have a lot to share with you. I've been using this and just this, for the most part, for the last 60 days. Okay, some things never change. I just realized that my audio was not on. That will never change. With that said, the audio may be a little bit wonky until I really figure out what's going to work for these videos. So if it is, please hang in there. I promise you it will get better. What I will also say is that they tell you that this side of Washington State isn't nearly as hot, and that is truth. It isn't nearly as hot as Eastern Washington, but there isn't a darn house on the planet on this side of Washington State that is built with ACs. So we are here in, what is it, 90-degree weather today? No AC in this house. I no longer live in a house that has windows all around it, but because I mean, as far as my beauty room goes, but because I am in a room that just has the one window, doesn't really face the sunshine, and when it does, it's darn hot, I am using my lighting today, which is also darn hot. So there might be some jump cuts in which I will be taking a second to cool my happy bum off with said fan because it's too hot for life right now. It really is, and it's too hot to be stuck up in this room with no AC. Lucky I know an HVAC installer. Welcome to my new beauty room, my new house. Let's roll into this project pan. So in this project pan, I have usually 10 items that I roll through, and this is the project pan that I really focus on trying to use up the products in my collection. So I am trying to finish every single product that I roll into this project. I started this project pan with 10 items, but I do have 11 products in here right now. So those are the items that we're going to go through, and I'm going to start with the products that we still have left, and then we'll finish up with the products that we are still working on, and then we'll pull new products. And walking into this, I really have no idea what I'm pulling in this month, which is scary sauce because I usually always have an idea of what I'm going to be pulling in. Let's just start with the first thing on my pile, and it is the Fenty Kilowatt highlighter. This is in Fire Crystal and Lightning Dust. And you guys can see there is a healthy pan in both sides of this compact. I'm going to pop up pictures of what this looked like last time and what it's looking like this time. I do think there is an incredible amount of usage that you can see. Sit them side by side. I mean, even since the beginning, I do know that there's been a lot of usage in this highlighter since the beginning of the year when I rolled it out of this project pan only to bring it back later. It's on my plan to pan for this year because I started using it last year and did get a decent sized pan in it last year. But I do think that you'll be able to see the expansion of the pan in this product because, I mean, it is a very, very large pan, and even this side has a pretty decent pan. When I rolled it back in June, on June 1st, it was 60 grams, and this month it also weighs in at 60 grams. But there's quite an expansion of pan, and I couldn't be happier that that exists. The next thing I have is this Pretty Vulgar Make Them Blush in the shade Hush Blush. And this is a blush that has been in multiple project pans. If I was doing Graveyard Project Pan, this would be one of those resurrection items because it's been in every single project pan every single year, I swear, for 3 years. But this is what the product looks like this month, and I think that you will also see there is quite a large expansion of pan in this guy as well. When I brought it back into the project last month, it was weighing 45 grams, and today it is weighing 43 grams. So not only are we seeing a really nice expansion of pan, but we can also see that weight going down, and that is what we like to see. The next one I have is this. This is the Benefit Professional Light Primer, and when I rolled this in, it was brand new. It still had the little like silver sticky on the hole at the bottom, and I think that you can see that it is sitting right here right now. I did in my last usage of this hit a pretty large air bubble, so I didn't use all this, but I did hit that air bubble, which makes it look like I got an incredible amount of use out of this product. It did weigh in at 27 grams when we rolled it in last month, and it is currently weighing at 24 grams, so there was quite a bit of usage. I do use primer every day, regardless of whether I'm wearing makeup or no. This did see a lot of that primer usage over the last 30 days, but just 3 grams of product, but quite a large like amount, and that's not accurate because like I said, I did hit quite a large air bubble the last time I used it. The next one I have is the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow All-in-One Tinted Moisturizer with SPF of 25, and this was rolled in May at 47 grams of product, and this month it had 40 grams. Here's what I will say about this. I'm using all of these products today, and some in more interesting ways than others. This used to be one of my favorite skin tints, and every time I wear it lately, I cannot stand the way it just sits on top of my skin. It's not, and I don't know if it's because it's hot here and I'm sweating and it's a different kind of hot. It's very, very humid hot instead of dry hot. But I did love how this set on my skin, and now I just cannot stand it. I'm wearing it today. One thing that I do like about it is that it is very lightweight. It does blend very nicely into my natural skin tone. I feel like it is glowy and beautiful, but at the same time, I also feel like it just kind of sits on top of my skin, and I'm not sure that I love that so much. This is in the shade Light Neutral. I do feel like that's a good shade match for me, and we are seeing a significant amount of use. I do think I could probably have this done by the end of summer if I just hone in and focus on it, but I just don't 100% love how it looks on my skin. I'm gonna have to figure out like what I can mix it into to get more usage out of it, because I really just don't want to use it ever. But I'm obviously using it because we're seeing quite a large amount of weight differentiation. So this one will remain in the project. And the next thing I have is the One Hit Dewy Setting Spray by Item Beauty. This isn't something that you can get anymore. I do believe this was sold at Sephora at one point in time, but this was something that I brought into my collection from an Ipsy beauty box. It took place of the Hourglass setting spray that I was using that continued to break on me. And if I don't roll a setting spray into a project pan, I don't typically go through them anymore. I used to go through so many all the time because I just love spraying my face. I don't so much love it anymore, and I don't so much think that my face eats makeup in the way that I used to think that my face ate makeup. So I also don't feel like I need them anymore. But this one, it weighed in at 116 grams in April when I rolled it in, and today it is weighing 89 grams of product. So we're getting a ton of usage out of it. I do feel like if I held it up, it's probably sitting about here is what I would say. So about halfway done at this point. I don't necessarily think it's fantastic, but I also don't necessarily think it's not fantastic. I think it does refresh my face. It does feel good. I love that it's got a little bit of dewiness to it, but at the same time here lately, it's not something I've loved about it, if I'm honest, but it is what it is. It's getting some use. I do anticipate another probably couple months before this is gone, and then it will be, gone out of my life. The next thing I have is the Dior Powder No Powder. This is in the shade 3N, which is 3 Neutral. This was rolled in March, and in March it had no pan on it. Last month we saw pan. This month I think that you can see we're seeing a pretty large expansion of that pan. It did weigh 66 grams when we rolled it in March. Last month it weighed 64 grams. This month it's weighing 64 grams. But I'm really excited about the expansion of pan in this. I've seen so many people try and pan this and never hit pan. Meanwhile, there's Samantha March who's been like through 90. So it is what it is, but I'm super glad to see some kind of expansion in pan in that, even though the weight really hasn't changed month over month. I also have the Make Believe in Yourself palette by Tarte. This is a palette that I rolled in because I really wanted to see some usage out of a palette this year, but really don't think I have it in me to do a pan that palette. Which is funny because the only time I really use this palette is when it's in another project. So when I roll it into my deck of panning in some way, that's the only time this palette ever gets used. I have used this quite a bit over the last 30 days because it is, again, in my deck of panning. I'm supposed to be using each shade twice. I've used this matte shade probably, 40 times to be honest, but not really. That's an exaggeration. With that said, this isn't weighing any differently than it weighed last month. It doesn't look really any different than it looked last month. The only thing I would say is it looks a little more used, maybe. This matte shade does have kind of like a dig in it where like my nail accidentally went across it, and I can see less and less of that divot in that matte shade, so that makes me happy. I can see so much more usage on this. It looks so much more loved, and that makes me happy in and of itself. But it did come into the project in January, first day of the year, and it weighed 147 grams. Today it's weighing 146, which is the same as what it weighed last month and the month before and the month before. So I don't really know what to say. I am using this palette specifically over the last 30 days. I'm just not seeing any traction in weight, but I'm really happy that I can see a difference in what the palette looks like. So that brings us to the last 4 products in this project, and I have 4 empties. Let's start with this one. This is one that I just rolled in. I rolled it in last month on the 1st. It weighed 14 grams on the 1st. It currently weighs 14 grams and it is completely empty. This is the only lip gloss that I kept out of my collection when I moved. So for 5 weeks' time, this was the only lip gloss I had access to, which was awful. So it, of course, did get used up. I did take the stopper out of it. I did scrape and scrape and scrape into the bottle. It is the lip gloss that I have on currently and then I'm reapplying. There is still, you know, whatever is left on the doe foot that I have been using, but this is gone. Another lip gloss out of my collection. Super happy about that. So this is the third one of these little minis that I have completely finished in this year, and I'm really excited about that because I had 4 that I brought into my plan to pan and figured 3 months each. My last one took 2 months and this one only took 1. So I am more than caught up with what I thought was going to take forever with the first one. It only took 3 months. The next one I have is this. This is the Stila Shimmer and Glow, and this is in the shade Kitten. Now this one was hard for me because I really did think that I had used it quite a bit, but I really didn't think I had used it as much as I had, and this does have the stopper I pulled out of it. I also stuck my paddle in there and took out as much as I could get out on the paddle that was usable. And now every time I stick the doe foot in it, it's a dang mess because it just wants to like go everywhere because it's so dry. That's the one thing I would say about the Stilas is unless you are 100% sure that that glimmer and glow, glitter and glow, whatever it is that you're using is darn near gone, don't take the stopper out, because taking the stopper out, I have found, dries out my Stilas faster than anything else. But this is also gone. I'm so really happy about that. That's been in my collection for years, so I'm so happy about that. The next thing I have is this, and it is the Colourpop Lippy Stick in the shade, I think it's BFF. Yes, BFF. This was rolled in March. And I took a picture of it. I have all of the lines that I can show you in a picture of where it was month over month. I measured it in May prior to going into my June update. And that is the last line that I was able to do, because when I went to go sharpen it this time, as you guys can see, the lead just came out. There was like not enough lead to sharpen. So it just came out on the sharpener. It is just a hollow little shell of itself. Also, that last time I went to go use it, I had to gnaw on the lid of this to get the lid off the pencil. It was so cumbersome. The last thing I have is the Benefit Gimme Brow Plus Volumizing Pencil, and it is in the shade 4.5. And the reason we are calling this empty is because these two now come together, and because these two now come together, I can no longer get this into the sharpener because of the nub on the piece that holds the lid that covers up the spoolie, which is disappointing, but I am also really super happy. This rolled into this project in January. It is July. It took me 6 months to use this thing in entirety. It was brand new when I got it. I think I've gotten my money's worth out of it, and it was gratis also, so I didn't really pay for it. But I'm really happy with the progress that I got on this, and I mean, I can't sharpen it anymore, so what are you gonna do, right? You have to be able to sharpen it to use it. So I figure I've got maybe 1 or 2 more uses in it, but also I can't make it sharp enough to get a nice thin line. I mean, my brows, I used it today in my brows, and they're looking pretty big because of the dullness of this pencil. That is empty. So we have 4 empties in my project pan, which I am really freaking excited about. So I'm gonna go pull some new products because I haven't thought about what I want to do yet, and we'll roll it in. I also need to change my battery, so we'll do that, and then I'll come back and we'll roll through what I'm rolling into this project. All right, it's been a minute. I had to let this room cool down. These lights are no joke. They're super hot, and it's already hot. The window's open, the fan, whatever. It's just so hot. I also needed to eat something because I could feel myself fading and fading fast. So I did do that. I do have my 4 new products for my 4 empties, and I did try to do like for like when determining what I was rolling in to replace these. I don't often do that, but I do like there to be a good amount of products that I need for a full face in my project pan, because when I go out of town or if I only have a few items to utilize for 5 weeks of time, I like there to be as much as possible in that project pan mindset, so that I can get some usage out of those items instead of having to dig for something new. So with that said, to replace my Colourpop Lippy Pencil in BFF, which is completely gone, I am going to bring in the Colourpop Lippy Pencil in Beeper. If you guys have been around for a minute, I did a video last year trying to dupe the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude in shade, and this was the closest shade match that I have. And that might explain why every time I talk about Colourpop lippy pencils, everybody's favorite is Beeper. So this is also kind of one of my favorites. I love that it's got kind of this brownie tone, but it's pink enough that it doesn't like appear super brown, but it's also brown enough that it doesn't appear super pink. So I'm not a pink lip kind of person, but I do love this tone. So I am bringing this in. And I do have pictures of where we're starting with this product. Lippy pencils, brow products, or brow pencils anyways, are some of those products that I don't feel like I can weigh. So speaking of brow products, to replace the Benefit Gimme Brow Plus Volumizing Pencil shade 4.5, I am bringing in my Benefit Precisely My Brow in the shade Gray. This is measured from the lip here up because this is a retractable pencil. I can also show you on camera right now where we're at with this pencil. It is a pencil that I have used multiple times in the past, so it isn't a brand new pencil for me. But the Precisely My Brow in Gray is my favorite because the gray tone, even though my brows are not gray, seems to go really, really well with my brow hairs and with any shade of vivid hair color that I decide to put on my hair. So I really do like this pencil. I love the spoolie on the back of the Precisely as well. To replace my Clinique Lip Pop Splash in Juicy Apple, I am bringing in my Clinique Lip Pop Splash in the shade Fruity Pop. This is the last of the 4 that I had stated that I wanted to bring in to my project pan this year and finish off. So I'm super stoked about that because after this lip gloss goes, and the average is about 2 months now, so I'm assuming this will be out of my collection by September. I can pick any lip gloss I want to use all the time and to have as my purse gloss. So really super excited about this guy. This one does weigh in at 13 grams today. And I think I made a mistake earlier when I told you that this one weighed in at 13 grams. That was the very first one that I panned this year, weighed in at 13 grams to start and 13 grams to end. This one actually weighed in at 9 grams to end. I'll pop a picture of that up here in case I didn't do it earlier. But this one weighs in at 13 grams. If it is like the last 2, it will weigh in around 9 grams when it's empty. If I take the stopper out of it and completely dig out the product like I did with the last 2. I really enjoyed those colors. This one I'm not sure about because it seems really, really deep. I mean, I understand it's, you know, kind of a clear gloss, but that is a really deep pigment to that clear gloss. So I'm not sure how I'll get along with that, but I do like the shade of it, and I do think that it's a great, like, warm tone for the summer months, which I love. And that is also why, to replace this Stila Shimmer and Glow, I am bringing in this Stila Shimmer and Glow. So this one is in the shade Pagale, and this one was in the shade Kitten. This is also in my Planned Pan products. All 3 of my little tiny Shimmer and Glows were part of my Planned Pan. I think this is the second one that I've been through this year, or will be the second one that I've been through this year. If it's anything like this one, I don't foresee this being a long haul product. Even if it's not like that one, I'm assuming that it will probably be gone by the end of September. It's just a mini. They dry up really fast. We all know this. And I haven't really opened this one a whole hell of a lot, but I'm assuming that because I will be opening it and using it, that it'll probably dry out pretty fast. I do love this shade. Again, it's a nice warm tone for the summer, and I do think that these two items go together really quite well. That one weighed in at 19 grams. This Stila, I don't think I weighed. This Stila weighs 18 grams and it's empty. So I'm not necessarily saying that this one will also be empty in a month, but I do see quite a bit of windowing in here. I do know that I've used these quite a bit. These have been in my collection for quite some time. So whether that windowing is because it's dried out, which I know it's not because I just swatched it and was really nice and creamy still, or because of usage, which it has to be at this point, there is quite a bit of windowing here, and I don't anticipate this will take too long to finish. So with that said, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you are super happy I'm back. I'm super happy I'm back. I should be back to regularly scheduled programming very, very soon, if not now. And I promise you, I've got a lot of shit to share with, I've got a lot of stuff to share with you, and I missed this so dang much. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you and yours are well, that you are enjoying summer, that you are safe, and that you are healthy. I hope that you are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.